Hi everyone, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today is all about tips, tricks, and tools. I'm just going to show you some things that I have seen either on the internet or in stores and think, holy cow, that's really expensive for what it is. So I kind of tried to figure out ways that I could make similar tools to work the same. One of them is, first of all, you can't replace the Stamparatus. It's awesome. I've had 3 other brands. This is definitely my favorite. Mostly, I think, as I said before, is it hinges down. You can put a 12 by 12 piece of paper in here. You can have 4 sides going at one time. 1, 2, there's another plate over there, 3, 4. So you can rapidly make multiples, and that's awesome. But sometimes when you work near the edges of the hinges, as with all of the other positioning tools, the same thing can happen. Doesn't always, depends on the stamp. But anyway, they make these acrylic L's and things to keep your paper away from the edge, but yet not make it difficult to try to line things up. So I decided that I would use my scraps of extra thick white and I would build my own, just out of paper. It's easy, it's cheap, these are scraps. I'm not going to show you all of this. I'm going to quickly go through, after I do the first one, I'll speed up the film and get you by the rest of them. Of course, the most important thing is just try to get it on there straight, because you want to use the edges as you build up. This is a great way to make dimensionals, especially if you're sending things through the mail. They don't get squished down. So there's the first one. I'm going to use 3 and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I've got my 3 all together. I did want to make it about the size of my Stamparatus. So just using a pen, I'm just going to make a mark towards the end. I'll take it over to my trimmer, which is a little off camera, but you don't need to watch me cut this. And then you end up with 2 pieces like this. So I'm going to push this aside. I decided I would square them up and use this last piece. So I'm going to put some paste here and then all along here. And then I would overlap it to help with the strength of it. Still lining it up, so starting here and lining it up straight, butting it up against the other piece. Whoops. Well, that didn't go as planned. There we go. All right. So I've essentially strengthened this joint right here, but I've also made it uneven. So what I did next, and you can do this with a pair of scissors now that you know how long it's supposed to be. I just took the leftover piece and we'll put it over this way. It doesn't strengthen it, but it does make that even in height, which is something that you would want. So there you have it. Now, this size, if you're wondering, is a 1/2 inch. It just happened that I had a bunch of 1/2 inch pieces. You don't want it to stick to the bottom of your table. And that works really well. I'll bring this back in. When you want to line something up, you can now line it up right against this and have it be away from the joint. I also made one that was 1 inch. They both work well. I'm just going to keep them around, and that'll be one little tool. I'll be right back with another one. I don't know if you've seen in other videos, but this is my multi-purpose glue. I've basically buried the cover in hot glue gun glue in the inside of a candle holder. It's pretty to look at. It's heavy and weighted, so it doesn't fall over. It keeps my glue in the down position, which makes it ready for whenever I need it, and it comes in real handy. Another thing I did just for fun was to cover the inside of my tape measure with some very beautiful paper. And sometimes I change it seasonally, so that's just a fun thing. Another thing I have seen on the market is for those people who have arthritis and have difficulty pressing even using the Stamparatus. I don't really have that problem, but when I do a lot of multiples, and I'm talking about 30 or more, I just finished 80 invitations to a wedding. This comes in handy, and all it is a square. You can buy the square at the store. I have a husband who could cut me a square. It's actually not exactly square, but it doesn't matter. And then the ball just came from, I think, Hobby Lobby. It's 3/16 of a hole, 4 pieces, 2-inch balls, and they're flat on the bottom with a hole. And if you can't get one or get somebody to drill it, my husband actually sunk in here and drilled so I could put a screw up there. But you can glue it just as well. And it just helps with pressing evenly all over everything. These things cost 28 bucks when you look online. This cost me $4.99 for 4 of them. Well, of course, I didn't need 4 of these, so I started thinking, what else could I make? So I came up with, this is a cleaner for when your Stamparatus is being used and you have a stamp, for example, this one here, and oops, I'm doing it the wrong way. And you've stamped it and there's ink all over it, and rather than peel it off or try to just use baby wipes or that kind of thing, this is actually an old stamp cleaner refill. I hot glued it on. I hot glued this on, and now I can wet it. I can have a wet one and a dry one. I just thought of that. I usually just spray this with cleaner. It's almost dry though. When it's dry, it kind of drags a little bit, but you can clean it up. I just lay it like that while I'm working on it, and that gets done pretty quickly too. So those are 2 things, and I can use one more ball to make a wet and dry one version of that. And then, let's see, I think my last tool I'm going to show you is this, which is a buffing nail kind of thing, and it's got to buff your polish, to buff your nails, to smooth them out, and to shape. And I use it on my cardstock. If you ever cut anything and it's a little bit fuzzy, this is paper, so it's not going to work as well, but you can actually get rid of those fuzzies by doing this. And it goes pretty quickly. Usually fuzzies mean it's time to change your cutting blade, but not always. I discovered in one of my previous videos that when you cut a lot, especially when you're just trying to shave off that little piece that was a little bit too long, you end up getting things in this channel. And this new, I love this new Stampin' Cut machine, trimmer, that's the word I'm looking for. It does not have a removable tract. It's very deep, and it does get dirty. Look, I cleaned this not that long ago. And as you can see, there's fuzz things in there. And that can help dull your blade, or that might be the reason you think your blade is dull, but it's not really. And our blades last a really long time. So if you've only used it for a little bit and you think it's dull, it's probably not that. I would clean out the channel of my stamping machine. But again, you can always scrape off the fuzz with that. I think that's, oh, nope, I have one more tool. So this is the Standard Duty socket set. You find them where they make closets, and one is completely round. I'll show it to you closer in a minute. And one has like the top half cut off, and you can screw them into closets, and that's what you would hang your closet bar on. Well, let me take you to where I use a K-Lig for a lot of my things. And not everybody has a K-Lig, but just if you can find a spot where this works. So you can see I've got the complete circle one over here, and the bar that moves up over here. So I can take down all of my different things to change them around, fill them up, move them out, and then when you put it back, doing this one-handed is very interesting. You, sorry if I'm getting you dizzy, you put it in one end and then you slip it in over the other, and they're there for you. You could hang two inside of a K-leg. Again, way cheaper than buying the dividers that actually do that. And as you can see, I have other things in here on this side. I have my markers, they're way back, but that just lets me take them out when I need them. On this side, these are the cards I talk to you about all the time that I make, and I can just have them in there. They're clips that you get in the sewing department. They're used for quilting, but you can use anything. You could use a pin, tape, whatever. But that's how I do my ribbon, and it's a lot cheaper than some of the options. I hope you've enjoyed our little show today. It was quick and easy, but I think it can save you a lot of money. Then you have more money to buy stamps. Have a great time. Bye.